see her? There's a guy alive. Hey, over there. Take a picture. Look, over there. Previously on Just Steven. Look at us. We are ready to go. The shirts are looking fantastic and we've made it to the theater on time. So guys, that's going to do it for this video because I got to see the movie. And so once I'm done, the review will be coming up shortly after this video. So please stay tuned for that. What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. And wow, long time no see. That's sarcasm because I just saw you about like a day or so ago. Well, I just came back from the movie and I have to say that this is my favorite movie of 2022 so far. And it's like, so far, I think we have Nope, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then what other movies have I seen this year? Oh, I wish I had like a website where I could log all of my movies so I could know what movies I've seen this year. And then maybe even like see a review of it, especially if you like this portion of my YouTube channel, if you want to see more of my reviews. Oh, where can I go? I know, Letterboxd. This is not a sponsor. However, I'm letting you know that I am now on Letterboxd and I've worked really hard to just lay out as many movies as I remember as possible. And I also have a lot of movie ticket stubs, so I've just been like logging them in. I've been going crazy on there. So, with that being said, don't let my hard work go to waste. Go check it out. Especially, like I said, if you really like this part of my YouTube channel, if you like my movie reviews, that's the place for you because, of course, there will be much more frequent. I actually watch a lot of movies. Shocking. And yeah, so just go check it out. I just started about like maybe a month or so ago, so it's not like the biggest one, but there's a lot on there. And so, yeah, if you like my movie reviews, go check it out. I'll put the link in the bio. But for people who don't feel like going to my Letterboxd to read the review, stick around right here, because I got a video for you that will accurately describe how I felt about this movie. So, without further ado, let's get into the recap. We start off our movie with an ominous shot of a monkey after a vicious killing spree. Legs, blood, standing shoes, all displayed in front of a live studio audience for the world to see. Then we really start our movie with one of our main characters, O.J. Haywood, played by Daniel Kaluuya, speaking with his father, Keith David. But suddenly, his father is killed by a falling nickel in a rain of various metal objects. 6 months later, OJ and our other main character, his sister Emerald, played by Keke Palmer, are trying to hold down the business for it, but things just aren't going right. But all these issues fall by the wayside when they discover what they thought was undiscoverable. A flying saucer is going around sucking up their horses and raining down the inedibles. So the Haywoods decide to wrangle their most wild animal yet, an alien. To do so, they recruit the tech-savvy camera repairman, Angel, and the famous cinematographer, Antlers Holst. Together, they try and catch the Oprah shot that'll take the world by storm. But they soon learn that they may be trying to saddle the wrong bucking bronco. Alright, now that we got the recap out of the way, let's get into the grades. First off, I want to talk about the genre mixing. I feel like this movie did such a great job in taking multiple aspects from different genres and then melding it so perfectly together. We have horror, comedy, sci-fi, and a good helping of Western inspiration. And I feel like it all just works out so well. I feel like Get Out does a really good job as, you know, you have the main horror aspect of the movie, but you have the splashes of comedy. But I think I would say that in the movie Us, I think the line got a little bit too blurred. I think that there were certain horror scenes that could have been drawn out a little bit longer without the comedy. But overall, I still think that the line was pretty well drawn in both movies as well. But overall, I do think that it was still a nice mix. And the sci-fi and western, I mean, this is the best mixing of the two genres since, I don't know, Cowboys and Aliens. Uh, so very good job. You did it. You topped it easily. Next up, I want to talk about the cinematography. Just every single shot I felt was masterful, purposeful, and meticulous. I feel like it was a movie that was really taking its time, which I very much enjoyed. I think that, scenes were shot still, slower, and really just let the audience soak it in, because I think that each shot was, as I said, purposeful. I feel like it was trying to tell you something, and it gave you enough time to sit and really think about it and really just absorb what it's trying to tell you. So overall, yeah, I just thought that each shot was just beautiful, and I feel like we're going to actually be seeing a lot of homages to this movie going forward because of how well that I thought it was shot. Next up is the writing. Not only was the story extremely well written, but each character I feel like really shined. I feel like he wrote them in a way that made them very personal. Like OJ, while some people may have thought of him as just stale or dry, for me, I felt like he was just a very complex character that, he's stoic. He's supposed to be a man because that's what his dad taught him to be. And he's trying to hold down this business. He has the weight of this whole family heritage kind of riding on him. So I feel like he is kind of a stoic type. I feel like he tries to be this, immovable rock, but, it's hard. I feel like that's what you see in his character. We also have, Keke Palmer's character, Emerald, who is she's striving to be something more than what she thought that she was going to be in the farm. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, she clearly had her own heartbreak when she didn't get to raise Jean Jacket, the horse that she was promised by her father. And she felt like she was, kind of in the shadows of her brother. Their father kept on having OJ be the one who wrangles the horses, do all the barn work and whatnot. And there's literally a scene where she's written as, she's looking through the window watching OJ, and her father won't even look at her except for OJ. OJ looks at her, but the father wouldn't. So you see that when you first see her is introduced, she's like, hey, I do acting, singing, dancing, making grilled cheeses. She's trying to make herself bigger than what she felt like she should have been in the barn. She felt like she was, like I said, in the shadows. Which, going back to being in the shadow of OJ, and OJ being the one that sees her in the window, the way that they wrote the sibling dynamic was so perfect to me. And honestly, it reminds me of my sister, where it's just like they feel like real siblings. Sometimes movies just don't know how to write siblings where they kind of feel like co-stars. You're not really siblings. This one felt like it. I felt every bit of their like dynamic, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I feel like it was such a well-written relationship. And going back to the story, one thing that I think is really cool about Jordan Peele's work is that he doesn't try to reinvent the wheel here, right? He takes things that were already an established concept in film and then just turns it on its head. We get it with Get Out, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We get Us, which is a basic doppelganger movie. But each time he takes it, he puts his own twist on it. Like when you watch it, you know it's a Jordan Peele movie. And I feel like he does a very good job at twisting it. So when you get to Nope, I feel like, again, this is a basic alien movie. You get a UFO just flying around, sucking up horses. You've seen it before time and time again, but Jordan Peele takes it and he makes it his own. He puts his own twist on it, his own writing it, and it feels very personal. Like he enjoyed every minute writing it. And so I think it's actually inspiring as he does that, because it shows that other writers don't have to really try and make the next big original piece. All you gotta do is take what was already established, because that's all it is. There's nothing that's truly original in Hollywood. There's always just something that's slightly based off something else, and that's completely fine. Everyone gets inspiration from something else, and I feel like you see where Jordan Peele gets his inspiration from, but you see who he is as a person when he makes these movies. Now, let's get into the acting, because you write these characters, but someone has to deliver them. They go hand in hand, and let me tell you, I think that the hands have caressed each other nicely. Keke Palmer was electric on her set. I feel like she just really brought her A game, which she always does, and I feel like she did a great job. And I feel like she had an energy to her that really just kind of brought to life, which is a very nice contrast next to OJ, Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya had a very stale face, but I feel like he did a great job in showing every emotion behind that face. without showing like any other facial movement. He managed to really depict how he's feeling, how he's thinking, because he'll just say things like, the work isn't done. Work's got to be done. We got to get work done. He'll say stuff like that, and you're kind of just like, what is he saying? It doesn't matter what he's saying. It's what he's emoting, you know? And I feel like he does a great job at doing so. Also, huge shout out to Brandon Perea. I haven't seen him in anything beforehand, but I think that he showed up and showed out. I feel like he really just played his character extremely nicely. You know, he's lovable, he's funny, and he does a great job in just making his presence known, and I really enjoyed that. And Steven Yeun, I've been a fan of since The Walking Dead. I think he did a great job playing Glenn, and he does a great job in really playing a haunted character, a character that has a lot of baggage. And from there, you see him do the same thing here in Nope. You start to learn that his character was haunted by the past of the Gordy massacre. As I said, you know, in the recap, the monkey slaughter just... He's haunted by that, and you see that in his face, but he does a great job at really showing it. Steven Yeun did a phenomenal job. Great job all around. All right, guys, sorry, this list is a bit long when it comes to grades, but as I said, I really enjoyed it. Next up, let's talk about the monster, right? Everything about the monster was super cool, because what we learn is that the UFO, this is a spoiler, kind of, it's like in the middle of the movie that kind of revealed this, but spoiler anyway, we learned the UFO is actually a creature in itself. It's not an actual flying manned ship. It's a living creature, eating, breathing, and surviving. And first off, a really cool twist on a classic. But we go forward with the way its mannerisms is flying through, jumping through each cloud, hiding behind these tiny clouds, or it has one stationary cloud that it's hiding behind and it's using as a cloaking device. And it's so cool how it's written as a real animal. They gave it a personality. Jordan Peele kind of really gave it a specific rule set, specific mannerisms that really just made it feel real. Like I was actually watching a nature documentary, which makes sense, was why they grabbed the cinematographer, Antlers Holst, because he's like an animal photographer, and this UFO is an animal, or jean jacket as they called it. I also just love the way that you cannot look at it. Just like how you see in the beginning with the horses, you can't look the horses in the eye or else they'll start going crazy. Same for monkeys as well, R.I.P. Gordy. And you get this with jean jacket, you get this with this UFO, you cannot look at it in the eyes or whatever, the gaping hole, I don't know. Ew, I'm not gonna say that again. You can't look at it or else it will come down and eat you. And that's the rules that it set, and I feel like the rules were just made so perfectly to make it feel like it's obeying the laws of its own nature, you know? And I thought that was super cool. Now, again, with the spoilers, huge shout out to the final form, the design. The design of it was so cool. It looked like a biblical angel, you know, like, which I'm gonna get into that later. It had its own just original design that was just jaw-dropping. It was huge, it was massive. It looked like it kind of just, you know, it just takes your breath away, where you kind of look at it and it looks like something that if I would see that in real life, I would just drop to my knees and start praying, because what is it, you know? Like it, I don't know what else to say. It was a super cool design, and I rock with it. I think it was fantastic. All right, let me wrap up my grades. This one is a bit of a talker, so settle in. The last grade is the message, right? Because easily I will say that Nope is the most multifaceted and open-ended with its messaging so far that Jordan Peele has made. I feel like Get Out, at the very end, you kind of learn racism. Like, it's racism. And Us, I mean, that one is a little bit more open-ended with your messages, but, you know, overall, maybe your own worst enemy, you know? Or, like, you know, you could get a couple of different messages from that one, but I feel like Nope definitely strayed off on that even more, where you're really just like, what am I watching? Because I don't think this movie really tries to tell you what you're watching at all, which I love. You know, I like to sit and think about what it meant. So from what I ended up getting was I think about like two main points that kind of merged together in the middle. First off, I feel like it is a commentary on the way that society kind of thrives off of bad exposure. We have like the news, documentaries, true crime podcasts, you know, they thrive off of the the horrors of real life. And I feel like we get that because let's start off with the quote in the beginning, right? I will cast abominable filth upon you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle. And that is Nahum 3:6. And I feel like that quote is used to talk about the fact that we have these vile, terrible, abominable filth thrown upon us in this world, and yet we say, you know what, we're gonna just cast these upon you, and then we're making you a spectacle. Like car crashes that you can't look away from, like murders and like horrible, horrible things. We turn those into spectacles because for our own amusement. That's why I can't even watch like those documentaries or the true crime podcast because it just makes me feel horrible inside. Not even like I'm trying to shade myself from the realities of this life. I mean, yes, great. I know that the horrors go on, but I just don't find joy in watching them. I'm not saying that other people do, but I just can't watch them, And I feel like, but that's the big thing that I feel like we're trying to say here is that we make these spectacles of these horrible things. Maybe we shouldn't, because this is a time when we probably shouldn't. And I guess that's one message I got from it. But also, I think that ties in with you get the Gordy part of the movie, and I saw that people were confused about that. Like, why? What does Monkey have to do with this movie? But I feel like the overall purpose of it was the fact that look at Gordy. You see this character, this monkey who's snatched up from the jungle, and he's thrown with this like, hey, wear this funny little sweater and put a little birthday hat on, open this present, look at this stupid little monkey dancing around on the stage. I feel like that is the version of casting abominable filth on this creature that has no idea what's going on. Like he is just like, where are my vines? Where's the leaves? I don't know what's going on here. Why is there light shining on me? This is making him vile. Like what's going on here? And yet they make him a spectacle. When he goes crazy, even then, he goes crazy and kills everybody, he's still made into a spectacle because Stephen Yeun's character, Ricky, literally talks about how SNL made a whole skit about it. Comedians making jokes about it when it was a horrible event. People lost their lives, their faces. I mean, like, literally, this is horrible. But they made it a spectacle, just as I was saying before. People just making something bad into something that's fun to watch. But going back to Gordy, I feel like, he was specifically made to parallel Jean Jacket, our UFO, because this UFO was also being profited by Ricky. Ricky would bring in multiple people to come watching this UFO and then like feed it horses. So that's why he kept on buying horses off of OJ in the beginning, and he couldn't give them back because he said, I've been feeding this thing. I've been feeding this mother. I was feeding it. Your horses, bro. You can't get them back. He doesn't say that explicitly, but that's the reason why. He's feeding it. And he's turning it into a spectacle. After making it so vile and making it this crazy looking thing. And so I think that's why we get Gordy next to Jean Jacket, because they're supposed to be the same thing. They're a creature of nature that is being taken and turned vile and made into a spectacle. And I also think that's why we have OJ's character talk about what's a bad miracle, And I feel like the bad miracle is talking about it's how bad it is that there's certain things that happen, like Gordy mauling a bunch of people, UFOs sucking up people, all these horrible things. But maybe it's a miracle for these news sites who get to thrive off of this bad event and get viewers from it. And I think that was also the point of the shoe standing up on itself on the stage. I feel like the shoe was meant to represent that as a bad miracle. Sure, it's bad that all these people got mauled by just enraged primate, but pretty cool that shoe stood up on its own. What a miracle! Like I feel like that's what it is. I think that shoe standing up was a bad miracle. So I feel like that ties in with everything else. So that it's a bad miracle that this UFO is showing up and sucking up people, but that'll be a pretty cool shot. Or that sucks that this monkey absolutely just ripped up the face of this child. However, this would be kind of funny on SNL. And I feel like this whole thought process is backed up by the rule that this monster is set by, which is don't look at it. Maybe there's certain things in this world that we're not supposed to be looking at, like maybe we're not supposed to be trying to harness some of this insane event for our own pleasures, but here we are. Don't look at this thing. Don't look at Gordy in the eye. Don't look at these horses, because you're gonna get something's bad about to happen if you look at it. You're not supposed to look at this creature. And that this also segues into the other message of that humans try to wrangle what they can't understand. We don't like not understanding something, which is fine. I mean, I think that there's nothing wrong with the power of discovery, but I feel like, we see this when it comes to like zoos and like SeaWorld and stuff like that. We try to wrangle these things. Like we try to really just pull in these spectacles, and because we don't understand it, we don't like that there's something that could possibly be stronger than us. So we snatch up the lions and the apes, put them in a cage, and we go, we're the alpha now. And I feel like that's the point where it's like we were really trying to wrangle up this UFO because we can't understand it. We fear it, even though it's still a creature just trying to survive, And I feel like that's the other point of the movie, that we try to take something and make a profit off of some things that we don't understand. I mean, look at Tiger King. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I mean, you look at it, I'm not gonna watch it. And lastly, you get backed up by this whole trying to tame something that we don't understand by each name being popped up of the horse. You know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden you saw like Lucky, you saw Ghost, then you saw Gordy, and then you saw Jean Jacket and all that stuff. We're talking about each creature that we keep bringing up is the subject of something that we're trying to tame here. Which is also funny that you have, OJ and Emerald's father, bring up the fact that, Ghost is wild. Ghost is a crazy horse that they don't know how to tame. And then he literally says the quote, some things may not be meant to be tamed, And I think that's the point. We're not supposed to be taming some of these things. Maybe some things should be left alone. Stop looking at it. Stop making a spectacle of it. Leave it alone and let it be. But a lot of people cannot do that. So that's what I got from this movie. I think I could ramble about this for a long, long time, but I'll stop here. But as I said before, I think I'll go into much more depth about it on my Letterboxd, so go check that out. Anyway, let's move on to the gripes, which is none. I don't have any gripes. I did not find an issue in this movie. This was a movie that was fun all the way around. It got slow at points, which I was okay with it. I think the slowness was on purpose to really amp up the tension and the intensity of the scene. The parts that were fast and loud, it was just so exciting. Like, we have literally just OJ on a horse running away from the UFO, he's like trying to wrangle this thing. It's awesome. I didn't have any gripes with it. I can't possibly think about what I did not like about watching this. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the grade. Easily, I would say this movie is a 98%. It's not a 99 or 100 simply because it's not my all-time favorite movie of mine personally. However, I gotta say, it's super up there. It was a very, very good movie that I want to go see again as soon as possible, just so I can kind of dissect it, because that's what Jordan Peele kind of asked you to do, is kind of rewatch it again and really just look at what you missed. And I'm itching to do that already. I feel like this movie just did a great job in just keeping my attention, making me think, and craving for more, So guys, with all that said and done, I want to talk to you about, and this is for the people who've definitely seen this movie. I want to talk about a theory that I have, right? And I was going to just say it all in this video, but you know what? How about I just show you the TikTok that I posted about it a couple days ago, and you watch it for yourself, because this is a theory that I think has some pretty good legs. Roll the tape, Steven. Alright, if you haven't seen the movie Nope yet, stop watching, go check it out, come back, because this theory that I have is a huge spoiler. So, for people who have seen the movie all the way through, you see that the UFO's true form looks like this giant octopus-looking thing with all this tentacles, or like a jellyfish with this weird gaping mouth. It looks like something straight out of the Bible, right? Which, it's not crazy to reference the Bible for this movie, because that's the first thing you see when you first start watching. The quote you see says, "I will cast abominable filth upon you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle." Now, when you watch the movie, you think that they're talking about humanity, because you see the example of Gordy being taken from the jungle, casted with abominable filth, and turned into this like sideshow, you know? And the same thing happens to the UFO, where the UFO is turned into a spectacle, right? But my theory is that this UFO is actually an angel sent down to punish humanity for doing just that, and does the same thing upon us. Because first off, you see that this creature will throw abominable filth by dropping down and raining trash, quarters, or huge gallons of blood onto a house. That's it, casting its abominable filth, and it's laying waste to this town of Agua Dulce, and it turns the whole town into a spectacle. You have news talking about it, people making rumors about it, all these people are disappearing. It's a whole spectacle. And the one rule of this creature is to not look at it, and it's punishing people for looking at it, which makes me think of the other Bible story of Sodom and Gomorrah. The quote here in Genesis 19:17 says, "And as they brought them out, one said, 'Escape for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the hills, lest you be swept away.'" Or, in some iterations of the quote, "Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed." We see with the TMZ reporter, we see with Ricky's whole crowd, we see with also the director, Antlers. All of them get swept away for trying to make a spectacle of this being. With that being said, I think that this is sent down to punish us for doing just that, and it goes around sweeping up and consuming the people who are making a spectacle of it, and turning this whole town into a warning for humanity. The worst part is, we don't know if that's the only one out there. So, that's just my theory. A nope theory. And me personally, I stand by it. I think that this is a punishment to humanity for, again, what I said in my other greats, which of the message is that, hey, I think that we try to harness what we don't understand, and we try to turn terrible, terrible things into spectacles for our own enjoyment. So I think that this was all just an angel's punishment on humanity, and Agua Dulce is the warning sign for all around humanity, But I just want to throw that in there. Just let you guys think about something. Think about that. Chew on it. Let it soak in. Digest it. And that's going to do it for this video. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this. And yeah, if you get a chance, go rewatch it again. I'm about to go rewatch it soon because I really wanted to soak it in. And as I said before, for the third time, go check out my Letterboxd. For people who really enjoyed all my reviews on this channel, but you don't feel you're getting enough of them, I feel like this is my perfect branch off from this channel to really just get as much of this quadrant of my content as possible. You get all my reviews. Same for people who enjoy my art. Like art like this. Ooh, don't show my belly. If you enjoy my art, go check out my Instagram page at JustEvenArt. Everything is under the at JustEvenArt. If you just type in JustEvenArt on a lot of social media, you're gonna find me. And for people who may like my skits, go check out my TikTok that just like that. You see stuff like that, and a bunch of other funny little shorts and whatnot. Go check out my TikTok for that. And story times, I want to make much more of those on this channel, so stay tuned for that. I think I got one coming up soon that you will really enjoy. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. And if you plan on cloud watching today, I'd cancel it. Just a hunch. Bye, guys.